Alright fish keepers, welcome to Gourami Court, where we judge these fish based on vibes, drama, and whether or not they'd ghost their tank mates. Some of these guys are peaceful little angels, and others are straight up villains with a superiority complex. So buckle up, grab your emotional support water bottle, and let's rank these finned chaos goblins from S tier perfection to why did I even buy these F tier debacles. Let's get into it. Okay, check this out. You got a fish with a color palette that screams, "I was born to be on the front cover of a fashion magazine!" And it's peaceful. Yes, we're talking about the Samurai Gourami. This little dude is a true standout in the fish keeping world, rocking these vibrant hues that'll make your tank look like it's straight out of a nature doc. Samurai Gourami are native to the blackwater rivers of Borneo, which is basically the VIP section of the aquatic world. Their deep reds, golds, and subtle shades of brown really make them showstoppers. Their mellow little vibes will make them perfect additions to heavily planted tanks. Seriously, like if you want a peaceful tank environment, these are the fish you've been searching for. Now, here's the catch, pun intended. They're a bit picky about their water conditions. Samurai Gourami thrive in soft acidic water with a pH of around 4 to 6.5, and their ideal temperatures between 75 and 82 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, they're kind of the high maintenance friend in your aquarium squad, but they're totally worth the effort. Also, don't just throw them in any tank. You have to have a solid group of their kind to hang out with, so you'll need at least 5 of them to keep things balanced and make them feel comfy. If you're looking for an easy to care for fish that's peaceful but also a bit extra with its colors, Samurai Gourami is a solid A tier pick for you. The honey Gourami. This fish is the equivalent of the chill best friend who shows up to the party and immediately makes everybody feel at ease. If you're looking for something that's cute, calm, and a little bit extra in the best way possible, this fish is for you. The males have this incredible orange color during breeding that just pops. Basically a living, breathing Pinterest board. But even the females have this mellow yellow tone that makes them look like they're always in a good mood. You know what's even better? These guys are as peaceful as a cloud, so they get along with practically every fish in your community tank. They're the good vibes only of the aquarium world. Now, as for their care, it's pretty straightforward. They don't require crazy water conditions, so they're a great choice for beginner aquarists who might still be figuring out the whole water chemistry thing. Honey Gourami prefer slightly acidic to neutral water with a pH of around 6 to 7.5 and temperatures in the range of 72 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. They are chill with a variety of food options too, whether it's live, frozen, or high quality flakes. So if you're looking for a peaceful, easy to keep fish that's not a hassle but still has that wow centerpiece factor, Honey Gourami are absolutely an A tier pick for any tank. Alright, let's talk about the Snakeskin Gourami. First off, this fish has some serious body goals. With that long, sleek body and distinctive snakeskin-like pattern, it definitely looks like it's about to star in an action movie, but, and this is important, don't let their sleekness fool you into thinking it's a low-maintenance fish. Snakeskin Gouramis are cool, sure, but they're not exactly a match made in heaven for smaller tanks. They can grow pretty big, like, I might need a mansion big. And they can reach lengths of up to 8 inches, which is not exactly nano tank territory. So yeah, if you got a big setup and you're looking for a fish that brings some personality and a little bit of size to this table, well, this one might be your guy. Here's the thing, these guys have a bit of a snacking problem. While they might look cute with their long fins, they'll eat plants if given the chance. So, if you got delicate greenery in your tank, you might want to rethink your plant situation. Snakeskin Gouramis are also pretty easy to care for as long as you give them enough space to swim around in and stretch their fins. They're omnivores, so you want to feed them with a variety of foods, including live or frozen foods, and maybe some plants if they're not busy munching on your aquarium decor. Because of their size and their dietary habits, Snakeskin Gourami end up in the C tier. Cool fish, but best for those with large tanks and a little extra patience. Alright, let's talk about the 3-spot Gourami, or as some of you call it, the Jekyll and Hyde of the aquarium world. Why, you ask? Well, because it can be totally chill, or absolutely wild, depending on the mood. Males in particular can be super territorial, especially when breeding, and that's when things get spicy. They'll put on a show of aggression, trying to claim their space like they own the entire tank. So, you can imagine if you're dealing with multiple males in a tank, be prepared for some fish drama. It's honestly like watching a little reality TV show, except the contestants are fish and they can't talk. Honestly, maybe I'm onto something here. Oh, okay, but don't get me wrong, these fish are still gorgeous, especially with their blue and silver tones. Man, they just catch the light just right. They've got this really cool vibe, but you gotta be careful with tank mates. If you've got passive fish or small ones, they could get bullied by the 3-spot Gourami. It's really a buyer beware situation because like any wild card, they can either be chill or a bit of a nightmare. So while they have their moments of brilliance, the 3-spot Gourami ranks low on the tier list, hanging out in the E tier. And that's mostly due to their unpredictability. It's basically like rolling the dice every time you add one to your tank. Sometimes you win, sometimes you regret your life choices. Now the Moonlight Gourami, this fish is the definition of understated elegance. Think of it as that quiet friend who shows up to the party, doesn't need to scream for attention, but somehow still manages to steal the show. It's got this subtle shimmer, almost like wearing some kind of secret glow-in-the-dark makeup. Seriously, like, if this fish were in a movie, it'd be the one that gets the Oscar for Best Supporting Role but never brags about it. They're a little shy, you know, they like to keep to themselves, hiding in plants and quietly doing their thing, like the introvert of the fish world. If you're looking for a fish that just hangs out in the background, adding a little shimmer without causing a scene, Moonlight Gourami is your vibe. But as chill as it is, it's not the type of fish you can just toss into any tank. Moonlight Gourami like their space, and they like some privacy too, so you're gonna need at least a 40-gallon tank to keep them happy and give them a place to vibe. They're peaceful, but you need to respect their me time. It's like having that one friend who's super nice, but only if you don't crowd them. So yeah, not always available, but when you find one, it's a solid B tier pick. Just don't expect them to start drama or to be the life of the party, because they're more like the sit in the corner with a book type of fish. Oh, the paradise fish. Let's be real here. Kind of like the bad boy of the fish world, with a little bit of a temper, but still a total classic. Imagine you've got a fish that's like, I don't need no heater, I'm tough. That's your paradise fish. This species is hardy. I'm talking about survivalist level hardy. They don't need no heater, which is basically like saying, I don't need an Uber. I'm gonna walk to the party in the rain and still be fine. But here's the twist. Here's the twist. Don't let that tough exterior fool you. These guys can be semi-aggressive, and when they get territorial, it's kind of like watching a reality TV show where everyone's a little too dramatic for their own good. So, unless you want your tank to turn into a Housewives of Aquaria drama fest, I'm gonna write that down. Make sure you choose your tank mates wisely. Paradise fish are best for mid-sized tanks or larger, and they'll appreciate having enough room to show off their flowing fins without getting into fights. Honestly, they're gonna be the ones to start beef in the first place and then just forget why they were mad. But anyways, B tier for these little drama queens. Solid pick for someone who's okay with the occasional fish face-off. They make a great solo fish, so think of them more as like a hardy betta. Now this one's a fan favorite. Small, colorful, and just the sweetest little fish you could imagine. The red Robin Gourami. They're like that cute puppy you can't stop posting about on Instagram because every time you look at it, you're like, oh, this is too wholesome. I can't even. They've got this vibrant red color, and I mean, come on. It's the perfect Instagram filter for any tank. They're peaceful, which is basically a green flag in the fish world. If you're building a peaceful, drama-free community tank, the red Robin Gourami is basically the poster child. And they're not picky either, so they'll happily chow down on flakes, live foods, and the occasional veggie snack. I mean, we love a health-conscious fish. But they're also not the type to just eat whatever's handed to them. They've got some standards, you know? Give them good food, and they'll stay happy, thriving, and looking cute as heck. Basically a guaranteed A-tier pick, because who wouldn't want this little ray of sunshine in their tank? Ah, the giant Gourami, or as I like to call it, the Chad of the Gourami world. This fish does not know how to be subtle. If it were a person, it would definitely be the guy who walks into the room and everyone's like, yep, there he is. Giant Gouramis get huge. Like the I need my own room huge. They're the bodybuilders of the fish world. They make all the other fish look like they're still trying to get gains. But here's the thing. With great size comes great responsibility, I think. This fish is not for your typical community tank, okay? It needs like so much space. We're talking 150 gallons plus for your tank level. So unless you've got a tank that's like 6 or 8 feet long, this fish is probably not gonna fit into your vibe. And let's not forget the fact that it can get pretty aggressive, especially during breeding. So you might find yourself dealing with the aquatic version of a bro fight in your tank. It's cool if you're looking for a tank boss, but it's just not really for everyone. I'm putting this big guy in the F tier, because unless you got an insane setup and the patience of a saint, this one's gonna be a handful. All right, let's get into the Sparkling Gourami, which is basically the little fish equivalent of a Pinterest board. These tiny aquatic celebrities don't need much. Just a little piece, some space to swim, and a few plants to vibe with. If you want a fish that's just chilling in the background looking stunning and minding its business, this is your go-to. Imagine the Sparkling Gourami as that one person at the party who doesn't need to scream for attention, but everyone just notices them because they're effortlessly cool. These fish are native to Southeast Asia and come from slow-moving waters where they just get to, live their best life. They'll do the same in your tank. Just keep it nice and planted and they will thrive. These guys are tiny. Like, your phone is probably bigger than them. They're peaceful and they love being in groups, but they don't need like a squad of 50, a small group will do. Just don't throw them into a tank with a bunch of aggressive fish thinking that they're gonna be okay. They're sensitive little fellas, so if you've got any big bossy fish, they might start feeling some kind of way. And let's not forget their charming little croak. Yes, they make noise. It's like their version of sending you a hey text. Their small size and chill vibes totally earns them top tier S rank. So, if you're looking for a low-key peaceful fish that still adds some pizzazz to your tank, look for the Sparkling Gourami. Alright, now we're going to talk about the brown spike-tailed paradise fish, which kind of sounds like the fishy version of a secret weapon in an underwater spy movie. Anyways, it's not your everyday fish. You probably won't find it trending on fish keeping TikTok, but if you're a connoisseur of underrated species, this one is a gem. It's like that one indie band that nobody knows about, but once you hear their songs, you're just all in. Yeah. These fish are hardy, and they can handle a variety of water conditions. They're like the, don't worry, I got this type of fish. The ones that are like, it's chill, I don't need any fancy equipment to survive, brother. And yet, they still thrive? Yeah, that's them. They're also low-key super cool, full of personality, and incredibly peaceful. They're not the kind of fish that need to hog a spotlight, more like the quiet type that hangs out in the corner and just makes everyone else look cooler by being there. Despite being a little underrated, they are hardy and they're pretty chill with other fish, making them perfect for those who want a peaceful community tank. The brown spike-tailed paradise fish is a solid A-tier pick. If you're looking for something a little different but still easy to care for, it might not be everyone's first choice, but when you get to know it, you're going to be thinking, why isn't this fish more famous? Alright, let's get real about Dwarf Gourami. They're cute, they've got that nice personality, and they look like they belong on a greeting card, but, and this is a big but, these little guys have been so overbred that their health is kinda hit or miss. It's like buying a vintage collectible online, and the listing says rare find, but when it arrives, it's a little disappointing. Yeah, that's the Dwarf Gourami's vibe. They look amazing, but the chances of them having health problems due to poor genetics are kinda high. You might have one that thrives for a while, but odds are also pretty good that you're dealing with a fish that just isn't built to last. The Dwarf Gourami can be a bit of a challenge to care for. They've got that personality that everybody loves, sure. They're curious, they're playful, they're full of character, but with that comes a whole laundry list of potential stress and heartbreak. They're also territorial, which means if you don't give them enough space or the right tank mates, they're going to turn into little divas. So, be prepared for these little guys trying to claim the throne, but the throne is your tank. So, yeah, they're adorable and they're charming, but their health issues and territorial tendencies bring them down to the D tier. They're the, I want to love them, but it's just so complicated kind of fish. Alright, the Coraking Gourami, which is basically the Sparkling Gourami's slightly older, louder sibling. This fish is super cool in its own right, making croaking sounds, yes they croak, during mating or just when they're vibing. It's like having their own little karaoke session in your tank. And I mean, honestly, it's kind of adorable. They're slightly larger than the Sparkling Gourami, but still in that perfect for a community tank size. And they're peaceful. They just do their thing and they blend in with other fish, like the quiet kid who only speaks up to drop some serious wisdom. And they do well in planted tanks here, just like their Sparkling Gourami counterparts. Plus, they've got the added bonus of being vocal, so if you like having little underwater concerts going on in your tank, well, the Coraking Gourami's your fish. The only downside really is that they're a little on the shy side, so don't expect them to be front and center type of fish, but they definitely bring something unique to the table, earning them a spot in the A tier for those who want a peaceful small fish with a touch of personality. It's like the perfect low-key roommate who's also the best storyteller when they decide to show up. Okay, so let's talk about the Kissing Gourami, which, let's be honest, is definitely one of those fish that's not as cute as its name might make it sound. When you hear kissing, you think, oh, how sweet! But here's the true reality. Those two fish kissing are actually two dudes duking it out. That's what these fish are all about. Territorial lip fights, not romance. So when you see them pressing their mouths together, it's not a sweet moment, it's a fish version of a wrestling match where one is claiming dominance. They might even lock lips for a good while, trying to outmuscle each other, which sounds a lot less cute now, right? And these fish can grow pretty big, like around 6 inches, and while they're fine with other species, don't throw them into a tank full of tiny, peaceful fish unless you want some drama. They can work in brackish tanks, but honestly, they're like the high-maintenance roommate who insists on having things their way. Kissing Gourami don't always get along with other fish, so it's kind of like playing an ongoing game of will they, won't they, but with fish. Also, they're a bit of a handful when it comes to aggression, so you're going to need to make sure that they have enough space. Probably at least 50 gallons. And that is to avoid them turning into the fish equivalent of that one guy who's always starting beef. I'm going to put them in C tier, because let's face it, they're not the easiest fish to keep unless you got some experience and a taste for drama. Now, if you want to see a fish that actually lives up to its name, meet the Licorice Gourami. This is like the quiet, mysterious art student in class who doesn't say much, but when they do, it's always like profound. Yeah, these guys are not only striking, but also pretty chill. They've got this beautiful black and silver striped body and blue highlights that are like something out of a dream. Seriously, if you're looking for a fish that's a little extra in the looks department but isn't an all-out diva, the Licorice Gourami here is that low-key, elegant vibe that your tank needs. They prefer a well-planted tank with soft, acidic water, and they're pretty sensitive about their environment. It's like they're the type that demands a calm, cozy setting where everything is just right. They're not hard to feed, but you gotta make sure they're getting a good mix of live and frozen foods like brine shrimp or daphnia. They're peace-loving though, so they get along with other fish that aren't trying to start any trouble. If you're ready to give them a bit of a pampered life, they'll repay you with quiet charm and subtle beauty. I'm gonna put them up in the A tier, because they're basically the ideal, peaceful, stunning, low-maintenance fish that still adds serious aesthetic value to your tank. Alright folks, let's give it up for the female power blue Gourami, the unsung hero of the Dwarf Gourami family. Listen, everyone loves the males because, you know, they got those vibrant colors and they're flashy, but the females, well, they're kind of the secret gems of the community fish world. They don't demand the spotlight, and they still bring calm, peaceful energy to the tank that makes everything feel zen. Imagine the female power blue as that cool, chill person who's super easy to be around. They're not over the top, they just seem to make everything better by existing. They're smaller and more peaceful than their male counterparts, which makes them perfect for community tanks. They don't go around starting fights or acting all territorial, and honestly, that's exactly what you need if you got a peaceful setup going on. And they can live with pretty much anyone, from tetras to small barbs, and they'll add a really nice pop of color without causing chaos. Plus, they're pretty easy to care for as long as you give them a tank with good water conditions and a balanced diet. I'm throwing them into B tier, because while they're not mind-blowingly spectacular, they're absolutely a solid choice for anyone looking for a peaceful fish that won't give them drama. Trust me, they're like the best friend who never asks for anything but's always there for you. Let's get into the Golden Gourami, because this fish is like that one friend who's super pretty but low-key problematic. And if you don't have that friend might be you. This medium-sized fish has got all the potential to be king of your tank with stunning golden scales. Like, wow, they look like they could be the mascot for a luxury brand. But here's the twist, these guys are also mean. Yeah, it's like discovering your sweet new roommate's actually a walking storm cloud. Males in particular are super territorial, and they will not hesitate to throw hands. Seriously, they might as well wear a shirt that says, "I'm not here to make friends," because they're definitely not. They're here to run the tank. If you want to keep one, don't even think about shoving them in a small setup where they feel cramped. No, 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 no. Golden Gouramis need space. Think of it like putting your friend with a massive personality into a tiny apartment and expecting them to chill. No, they need the whole place to themselves, or at least a space where they can feel like the center of attention. So yeah, they're the type of fish that you need to give room to and mellow out. They're honestly, they might not even mellow out. That's just who they are. They're not the easiest to deal with, and that's why I'm putting them down in the E tier. They're basically the I'll be chill if you let me be the boss kind of fish. And if you can handle that power struggle, A, more power to you, and B, you're in for a ride. Let's talk about the Chocolat Gourami. That's chocolate, yeah. This one is for all the indie lovers out there who are into the underdogs of the fish world. They don't exactly scream look at me with their looks, but if you're a connoisseur of rare and unique species, you'll fall in love for their quiet charm. They don't have the flashiness of other Gourami, and honestly, they could probably use a little glow up, but they've got this peaceful zen vibe that makes them an interesting choice for a tank. They're not out here flexing like the cool kids at school, but they're the quiet ones who might just be more interesting than the loudest person in the room. But here's the catch, they're rare. Like, I found a hidden gem at the thrift store rare. They're mostly wild caught, and that's cool, but it means that they come with a bunch of issues, like sensitive to water quality, potential parasites, and a picky attitude about food. They're the type of fish that'll side-eye you when you're trying to feed them something that's not to their liking. So, If you're a new hobbyist looking for an easy win, chocolate gourami might not be your best bet. However, if you're willing to put in the work and create their ideal environment, soft acidic water, plenty of plants, hiding spots, they can absolutely thrive and give you that nice I'm a rare collector bragging right. But yeah, due to their high maintenance needs, I'm gonna place them in the C tier. They're not for everyone, but if you're ready to flex with something rare, they're totally worth the effort. Okay, the Pearl Gourami is the glamorous fish that everybody's talking about. This is the fish that happens when you combine a celebrity's red carpet moment with the chillest energy you can imagine. They've got these shimmering scales that practically glow like they were dipped in fairy dust, and their calming vibes just make everything feel so peaceful. Seriously, the Pearl Gourami is the fish that walks into your tank and immediately takes center stage. No questions asked. If you're looking for a centerpiece fish that isn't going to give you any drama, this is your go-to. It's like having a best friend who's totally chill but somehow manages to get all the attention without trying. And the best part? They're not high maintenance. You don't have to worry about setting up a fancy spa for them. They're hardy and easy going, which is a massive bonus for anyone who doesn't want to turn their fish tank into a science experiment. These guys are peaceful and they get along with almost everyone in your tank. Like, they're the fish version of that person who makes friends with literally everyone at the party, who goes up to a cashier and starts a full-blown conversation. And they can tolerate a wide range of water conditions, and they don't need anything super fancy to thrive. Just give them some plants and a calm tank environment. Honestly, if you want a fish that's gonna look good and get along with everybody, the Pearl Gourami is the fish equivalent of the popular kid at school who's also super nice. And that is exactly why they're sitting pretty in the S tier. A true legend. Oh boy, the Frail Gourami. If you're thinking of adding one of these delicate souls to your tank, let me stop you right there. The fragility level of these fish are like hard mode in a video game. They're super picky about their water conditions, and well, they pretty much require you to nail it every single time. Want soft acidic water? Check. Want stable, consistent temperatures? Absolutely no exceptions. Want them to thrive in a slightly stressful tank environment? Nope, not happening. They are high maintenance, like the friend who requires you to text them 15 minutes before you arrive just to make sure everything's perfect. And to make things even more interesting, they're territorial. So not only are they high maintenance, but they also don't want to share their space with others. It is me, myself, and I vibes with these guys. If you're not a fish keeping pro and you're just getting into this whole hobby thing, well, the Frail Gourami is going to be a huge challenge. You're not just keeping a fish, you're essentially managing a tiny stressed out diva who wants things their way. So yeah, they got a lot going on. And because of their fragile nature and territorial habits, they are hanging out in the E tier. If you can handle the stress, they might be worth the struggle, but if you're looking for an easy win, this is not your fish. And that is the Gourami T, folks. We've got the unproblematic queens, the chaotic neutrals, and the ones that should come with a warning label. If you've ever been personally victimized by a Gourami, drop your war stories in the comments, or let me know what tier list video you want to see next. Smash that like button for the fish that don't start unnecessary beef, and subscribe for more fishy drama. Alright, I'm out. Stay hydrated, and may your tank be forever peaceful. Bye!